the year. Some considerations for this award. You could have said maybe some Leon Edwards in here, some Alex Bejeda, as we argued within the group of who should be fighter of the year. But only one champ this year who didn't lose a round in his 2 fights. And he is the most deserving of the award. And that is Alexander Volkanovski. Ben, go ahead and give us your opinion on why Volk should be fighter of the year.
Boo.
And then and if you don't feel like it, give us his opinion on why he shouldn't.
Off to why he shouldn't be fighter of the year. I don't think he should be fighter of the year. Personally, I mean, majority rules here, fair and square. Definitely is a guy who should be considered. I just deeply dislike the guy. And if I had a choice, I wouldn't want to give him an award on a podcast that I'm a part of. So that's why I feel the way that I feel. Yes, he had really impressive wins. This one that's showing on the screen right now against Korean Zombie. I mean, just a highlight real fight for him. Finally, a fight to where he was able to stop somebody and actually, give some excitement. But, that's also because the Korean Zombie was so willing to go forward and kept, taking the shot. So, kudos to Volkanovski, another year of being undefeated. Let's see if he does take that step up to 55 and, become the double champ. If he does, we might be talking about him, as no doubt unanimous fighter of the year for next year. But if the curse, if we're going to call this a curse, Volkanovski's going to lose his first fight of 2023, baby. We talking about sports award show curse.
Roland, this is a guy who completely decimated one of our favorite fighters. I'm on the train with Ben. I'm not a big fan of Alexander Volkanovski, especially for what he did to Max Holloway that last fight. He completely separated himself from the rest of the pack, and this is the only guy right now who's completely cleared out his division. And now he, like Ben said, off to 155 for the new challenge.
Look, I'll say I had a great disdain for Alexander Volkanovski, especially, with his rivalry with Max Holloway and how the first 2 fights went and what my opinions were on those fights. So as you guys can obviously, guess, I was not a big fan of Volkanovski, but I'm coming around. I kind of like Volkanovski. There's not really, if you just want to just line them up and just think about things that you can dislike about the guy, there's really not much. Kind of a stand-up guy, not super cringy, can talk a little bit of shit, but that's really not his calling card. So I kind of like the guy. And to what Justin said, I think that's really what, solidified him as a fighter of the year for me, was that he was dominant in his outings. He had a scare in that Ortega fight. That was 2022. I'm not tripping, right?
That's 2021. 2022, it's Korean Zombie and Max Holloway fight where he loses no rounds.
Okay, well then never mind. Because I was just thinking about that Ortega fight in the back of my head and how he had some scary situations there. But to your point again, though, he dominated Max Holloway, dominated Korean Zombie, and he set himself up for a huge 2023. As you guys are talking about, going up for that 155 title, which I think he has a good chance of winning, honestly. So, I like Volkanovski as the male fighter of the year. Although there are some other good candidates that could have won this award too.
Yeah. Let's just play a little fun thing here and say he beats Islam. Where does he fall on the pound for pound list? Does he won right away?
He's arguably one right now, in my opinion.
He's one right now.
With Usman losing, where does the pound for pound list, rank? I would say that he's probably got to be towards the top with not, the champion changing. Maybe, Ngannou. I don't know if they have him in the rankings due to his contract shit, but I would say, is he losing, recently? I would say Volkanovski's probably got to be the number one guy.
So what does that do for his legacy, a win over Islam? Is that just, he becomes so iconic at that point, right?
He does. And the thing that I hate is just every next champ, he defends a couple times and, this is the greatest guy ever at this weight division. Prior to this, Max Holloway was the greatest of that division. Now this dude has, Max Holloway's never beaten him. Now this guy's the greatest of the division. So I don't really like playing that card too much because I like letting, history write itself out. Let the guys retire, and then we'll start calling them the best at that division that there ever was. So definitely, a big, where everybody holds Islam Makhachev at, if he goes up to 55 as a shorter guy, and is able, to evade the ground and keep it standing and win a decision or even finish him, I think that he's hands down the number one pound for pound guy. He'll shut me the hell up because that would be a blessing if he could, take out Makhachev, a guy who a lot of people are comparing to Khabib as far as, being a force and not losing. So, yeah, big things for Volkanovski. Also, I mean, I don't want to say a lot of pressure because, he is taking the step up. He's still going to have his belt at 45, but yeah, some pressure, some pressure.
He's not, and I know we're not here to break down the Volkanovski and Islam fight, but I was just looking at a picture of him the other day that one of these random MMA accounts on Instagram posted of him in his rugby jersey from back in the day. This guy's, I mean, he was a 220 at one point. It boggles my mind that he's able to be effective as he is at 145. That's why I don't think he's going to have a problem going up against Makhachev, even though, Bobby Green shed some light on those rumors of Makhachev and how he's gotten so strong. Volkanovski, from, being 225 pounds at one point, I think he sets himself up nicely in that matchup. And to answer y'all's question, he is number one pound for pound right now. Makhachev is 2, Edwards is 3, Usman is 4, and Ngannou
1 versus 2. Interesting. Yeah.